Dragon Ball Sparking Zero got a 7 by IGN. Y'all believe that shit?
You guys stay out of this. If I'm the one these
Why
guys
only
want,
7?
then that's what they're gonna get.
As the first direct sequel to Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3 since its PlayStation 2 debut, there's something charming about Dragon Ball Sparking Zero's old school design and presentation. It's tougher than Vegeta's chest plate and imbalanced in ways that are both annoying and lore accurate. Menus are labyrinthian, training tips are sparse and sometimes not very useful. But
Training tips is non-existent. It just puts you inside of the game and then fuck it, go fight them.
every battle,
You know, I don't even know what buttons I have to
crafted with the
press
sole purpose of putting the Dragon
when I
Ball
played
Z
it.
fighting
But here's the thing. So far, this game is the best Dragon Ball Z game I've seen. Best looking Dragon Ball Z game. Like, it looks amazing.
fantasy as it appears in the anime into
Like,
our
look at that.
hands. Fast-paced.
So they make this story, so they make it to where, like, the story is authentic, and this is why it's bad?
Key slinging, teleport kicking, and magical hair
I mean, to be honest, it's kind of, what do you call it? It's been played out. How many times you want to see Goku fighting the freaking Raditz? You know? Like, we know how it ends, you know? Like, it's gotten old.
is
Come
great
on.
fun, so long as you're patient with its gnarly learning curve. As a result, settling back
Yeah, I did not have the patience to learn this game whatsoever. It has the most steepest learning curve I've ever seen in a
into the
game.
pace and precision
You have to press like 3 buttons for a single movement you have to do. And then there is like 12 abilities you have to do in order to
feels
pull a
just as
combo.
much like a labor of love as the effort to resurrect the series in the first place.
That is the most smartest disconnect I ever seen.
Uh-oh.
He's just throwing pizza.
Alright, let's see it. The dude's mad because he can't beat
Yeah,
me,
thank you
so
for the
he-
raid.
Wait, is that true?
It's undeniable how great Sparking Zero's characters and
Thank you,
environments
welcome.
look in
How you doing?
Yeah, it looks
I'm gonna
amazing.
stream it,
no
well.
matter what era
Are you gonna
of
stream?
Dragon Ball they're from, looks better than I remember. In motion, things get a bit more dicey, with some cutscene
Yo, thank you for the
animations in particular
follow.
being awkwardly
Thank you
stiff.
for dropping
But at
by.
least the sound hits the mark.
If you want
Be
your
sure to be
little buddy
hydrated
like-
and have
To be
food if you're
fair,
hungry. Thank you for sharing your amazing community with me.
animation in the anime was
Really
a little
appreciate it.
stiff as well. Okay? So, like, I don't want to hear, like...
Yo, DJ, it's been a while.
Wasn't it stated that
Hello,
one of the
hello.
reasons why Toriyama wanted to do
Lokesh.
Super Saiyan is so he wouldn't have to color
Wanna
the
come,
hair
wanna
of the
come,
characters
wanna come.
anymore in the manga? So, yeah, it's kind of stiff, like... I mean, it's the same as I remember I watched Fist of the North Star. Super stiff. But it's about
This
it's
is
about
the
the
North Star is
soul.
90s.
Come on.
Turn
Not the
safely,
animation.
You know?
Kakarot. Prove
Yo,
your
thank you
Saiyan
for the follow, Lokesh.
The raucous blast,
Any new
key
Discovery these
explosions,
days?
and booming whooshes of Z fighters flying at high speed.
Discovery in
over the
which regard? I mean, I played Dark Souls too. That's the new Discovery. The new Discovery in
screen
Depression.
of old TV episodes.
Yeah.
Most of the iconic
It's a cool looking game. I kind of wanted to try it, but it's too
voices
complex.
of the various
Right to
series are recreated pitch perfectly by their
Yes, sir,
original
that, yep.
voice actors too.
And
Which is an
so-
important
Things
detail
are
to
yeah,
the
pretty
game.
good, pretty good, Lokesh.
How is
Thank you,
this,
thank you for
how is
asking.
this not a
I just beat on Contra, and then I'm just looking at some
fucking
videos.
10? Like, how is
Wait,
this?
what?
How is this not a fucking 10? Like,
That's the thing. Not every game is a 10. Come on. It looks good, yes.
Another win for my inner child was the
That's the difference between a fanboy that doesn't know anything about the game and the difference between a freaking reviewer that actually points out its flaws. Are you rating the games? Yes, yes. I'm rating the video about a game. Your name is...
truly immense roster.
that is
180
so-
plus fighters.
Dude,
dude, when this happened, oh my god. It was so
Like that?
cool.
Oh, cool,
It
cool.
was so fucking cool, man.
That's worthy.
Both
Ah,
in
nice,
every
nice.
nook and
Yeah.
cranny
How
of
do you
the
have that?
series are playable.
Did you guys
Many
ever do
of
that
these
with your
characters
friends?
are
You do
repeated in
this?
some fashion,
No, you look stupid. Do not do
There
this with
are
your
middle
friends.
school?
19
Come on.
versions of Goku, for example.
Oh god.
Yeah.
But they all aren't simply reskins. They can have different special techniques and transformation trees. Meaning base level Goku from the Saiyan invasion days has a different set of moves and a much lower upside than Buu Saga or Super Era Goku.
It definitely
Sure.
looks colorful,
Transform
that's
into
for sure.
various Technicolor versions of Super Saiyan.
Tugam. Okay,
These
go to
abilities
sleep.
can't be
Take it
changed,
easy, rest
but I
well.
could modify each warrior with ability items that boost things like attack power and health, though I barely noticed any benefit at all when doing so.
Yeah, I would expect
The
that.
controls are universal for all characters, but some on the roster interact with the standard system slightly differently than others, which is an
Among us, I'm asking you? Nah. I usually was awake these times.
appreciated layer of nuance. Android characters can't actively regain ki in order to launch blast attacks, while gigantic characters like Janemba can't be wrapped. Sparky
You can play. Why? You can play against this character. Can you play
What is
as
that
this
character?
character? No, fuck. That's insane. That's what the fuck? That's awesome.
Why not indeed? No.
Oh my god.
wrapped. Sparking Zero makes no attempt to balance these differences either.
I hear a lot of that about this character. People were not happy about Grade 8 Vegeta.
I thought it was a skill cap and then he annihilates you. You're rating the games right now? Yes, I am.
Time I was forced to fight.
So this is a new Dragon Ball game. It came like 2 or 3 days ago. No, that's how it sound. That's how it sound, yeah.
At a character that was canonically stronger than mine in the manga or anime, they were just as impressive in-game as I'd expect.
And then it came like a week ago or something, and then I'm looking at a video
No
about
one's
it.
like it, but I respect the commitment.
Let me see what you got.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the bar to execute the various techniques of its diverse cast is very high.
Oh,
And extremely
okay.
Inputs are simple overall, but early on, I often felt lost when combat picked up the pace. Part of that is admittedly on me. The last entry of the series I played with fervor, but that was right after Barack Obama was elected. The fast pace of Sparking Zero compared to Tenkaichi 3, mixed with the lax tutorial system through my 17 years older reaction speed.
Yeah, that's pretty much a sound, and I don't want to talk about it. So since you're new, I'm just giving you an explanation. This is how I sound, and I'm gonna sound forever, pretty much.
I bet you
That's
can
pretty much
probably
it.
just pattern play with this and beat most of the campaign. Like, you can do that with,
Wait,
like,
what?
any campaign in these games. Yeah, it's not that hard. Exactly, you could cheese, yeah. You're fighting a robot. What does Obama got to do with this? It was a long time ago. I mean, for me, like, I'm even farther back than he is. Like, we had Budokai too. Actually, I don't know whether it was... I'd have to go downstairs and check. Like, but we had one of these on the GameCube.
Oh. He actually played
I
it.
spent a lot of
When Rain
time traveling back and forth between regular fights and the training mode to check and double check my understanding of when and how to use these techniques,
I'm just
as
gonna
well
have
as
that.
in the settings to adjust my button schemes and accessibility toggles.
Yeah, sure.
But really the only effective teacher was 25 brutal hours of getting kicked around.
Yeah,
Also, compared to modern day fighting games, Sparking Zero's training options are rudimentary at best. There's no expectation to lay out frame data and hitboxes in a less competitively focused game like this, but targeted drills or a more nuanced customization of CPU behaviors would go a long way to help beginners and returning players fly up to the high skill floor.
I could see how maybe that could be true, but in general, I think that, like, a big problem that fighting games have, and this is like a huge issue.
It's insanely complex, that's the problem, pretty much. It's ridiculously complex, this
Is that
game was.
fighting games, this is my opinion, fighting games have a huge problem because of how inaccessible they are to average.
Yeah, this game is one of them. This game is inaccessible as hell. I literally don't know how to
average
play this game.
players. And it's that the
Bro.
skill cap in these games is so high,
So good to meet you.
and because the
Just
skill
wanted to.
cap is so high,
Thank
a
you,
lot of
thank you
people,
for
including myself,
saying that.
are
Really appreciate it.
intimidated. And like,
great
I
stream. Thank you.
watch
See
Street
you
Fighter
soon.
6.
Are you
I
helping out?
like watching the game, but I don't want to play the game.
Alright,
Does that
thank you
make
for the
sense,
love.
right? And so that's why modern fighting games have modern controls. Exactly, right? Our skill cap is so inaccessible. Fighting games have, and this is like a huge issue, is that fighting games, this is my opinion, fighting games have a huge problem because of how inaccessible they are to average players. And
Yep.
it's that the skill cap,
Like you cannot pick this game and then learn how to fight in this game at all. You gotta put at least 1 month of gameplay in order to play even remotely
in
better.
these games
See you
is
soon. Thank
so
you.
high, and because the
Yeah.
skill cap is so high, a lot of people, including myself, are intimidated. And like, I watch Street Fighter 6. I like watching the game, but I don't want to play the game. Does that make sense, right? And so that's why modern fighting games have modern controls. Exactly, right? And so I think this is something that, like, obviously they're trying to overcome by, like, not really focusing entirely on balance and, like, making everything, like, razor close in terms of, like, its effectiveness. I think that's the goal. That's why they have skill-based matchmaking. Yeah, but, like, the problem is that I think that the level of skill that, like basically back in a day that it used to be like this much, and like now it's this much. So like people nowadays are just as bad as they used to be, but people nowadays also are better than they ever have been. Like Street Fighter 6,
As you
I
do
love
damage
it.
and gain energy, a meter will
Yeah.
charge that grants a skill point every time it fills. There's a handful of ways to spend these points, the most common being on unique skills each brawler has, like this and this one. But points also need to be spent carefully on transformations and the new revenge counter system,
Yeah.
which works a lot like
like
combo
parry?
breakers from Killer Instinct.
Okay.
The timing on your defensive options is razor thin and can be a real bear to learn.
Sure.
But these can be life-saving. Unlike Key, which is also used for a variety of offensive and defensive maneuvers, the resource management decisions you have to make on a moment-to-moment basis
Man, it's been
really
so long since we've seen this guy.
add a
It's
welcome
been
bit
so
of
many
strategy
years.
to an otherwise frantic fight.
You guys even remember this guy? This is Frieza's third form or
Yeah, that's
something.
good.
There is definitely
This cool fight is so cool because he's just transforming himself with his new forms, which is
an
so
old school approach to a
insane.
lot of the
On that
progression
time.
systems and
You thought he would just freaking die, and then he just pulls another form
menus
on
of
you.
Spartan Zero. You can grind achievements which get you rewards like characters, costumes, and in-game currency at a healthy rate.
Sure.
There are microtransactions like a $35 season pass covering 3 packs of characters and
Okay.
2 $15 music packs.
Welcome to
But I
modern
didn't see
gaming.
any option to buy them without leaving the game and going to the storefront directly.
Okay.
A rarity in 2024. Similarly, so many of the menus are a hassle to navigate. For example, you can customize characters' abilities and costumes to be used in all modes, but those modes don't have paths to the customized screen within them, so you have to exit one completely and go the long way to make adjustments. This was
I think
Yeah, it is obnoxious. The
that's
menu
a
is
fair
not that
complaint,
good.
and I think that menus should be good and more
Like in the first tutorial area, you cannot even rebind your controls. You cannot rebind your controls in this game at all.
coherent. Yeah, I think that
Like
part's
that's
fair.
also another
Fair.
nitpick I have. You could say it's a nitpick, but it's a
cares?
fact.
Well, no, I think it's fair to say that. I mean, like,
It's annoying.
it doesn't mean the game is bad because of that, but it's fair to say it.
Yeah, it is an
barely acceptable
annoyance.
in 2005, and we certainly don't have to live like this in 2024.
I always thought Trunks was so cool having a sword.
The flagship single-player mode is called Episode Battles, which is a truncated retelling of the biggest Dragon Ball stories from various characters' perspectives.
So if this is lore accurate, when you're fighting Cell at the beginning, is he just like so ridiculously fucking OP that you can't beat him?
Pretty much, yes. Raditz is a nightmare to
ifs,
beat
yeah.
just with Rogoku.
Just about every Dragon Ball game has done
half
this
and
in
half,
some
okay.
form or fashion, but this rather exhaustive version does a good job at keeping the time between battles short and prioritizing the important moments versus making you play every single skirmish, as Tenkaichi 3 did. The standout feature this time around, though, is that certain events can actually be cleverly changed for sometimes dramatic new outcomes.
Okay.
That could involve making a choice during a cutscene or ending a battle in a specific way that then changes the course of the story, sometimes dramatically. But not all of these side attractions are created equal, with only a few I've seen being truly jaw-dropping or substantial, like teaming up with Piccolo to kill Cell early.
That's cool.
Episode battles can be very difficult, since powerful characters can become all but immune to your normal attacks and will always have the perfect defense to match your offense, making it tough to experiment and find these largely hidden special conditions when the pressure is on. You can lower the difficulty on a fight-by-fight basis in order to progress if you really need to, but these special tasks must be completed at least the standard difficulty, making finding them very much an endgame activity. But I did
That seems cool. Yeah, you have to do it on standard at least to keep going. I actually wish that there were more games that gate kept you. I know this sounds bad, but I actually think that games that have gatekeeping like that are more fulfilling and better. Lowering difficulty, like I think
that sounds like a dog shit fucking Dark Souls elitist thoughts right there. None of the gatekeeping, in a sense, it should be more. It's hard to pull that off. Like, it's fine in some aspects, yes.
Basically, you should have ways to make yourself stronger so you can overcome challenges, but you should have to overcome challenges.
There's the guy who fought like a pretzel against Mesmer and then completely broke down and then said the game was too hard.
It made Tectone rage quit? I mean, did he do it on hard mode? Because I bet Tectone was probably like egoing it, right? And he didn't want to turn down the difficulty. Wait, no.
I think you freaking rat is kicking my ass in normal mode.
There's only 2 modes?
I want to see his gameplay. I want to see what's going on there.
Let's
finish this video and then I want to see his gameplay.
Oh.
Appreciate the effort to spice up the stories that have been rehashed ad nauseam. There are also custom battles, which exist somewhere between Mario.
I mean, I can probably be good at this game, but I gotta put way more longer time into this. I literally don't know how to play this game, like, at all. Like, it has, like, a wacky parry. I don't know how to do that. Like, the game inside, it literally doesn't teach you that, and then you cannot rebind the control. It's just tedious. This game, I don't think it's worth even a master.
And the universe mode in a WWE.
That's my reason why I just quit on the first
hour.
hour.
A toolbox full of special modifiers that limit what characters can and can't do in a given scenario, as well as some triggers that help.
See, this is so good, and this is good for people like this game. Like what it looks like to me is that this game was made for fans of Dragon Ball Z. Like,
yeah.
If you grew up trying to draw Goku's hair in middle school or high school, this game was for you. You know? Like, I'm just talking about exactly, right? And so it's like, when you have a game like this, I think in a lot of ways, it's kind of like Space Marine 2, where like, I think Space Marine 2 is an 8 out of 10 game that will evolve into a 9 out of 10 game. And if you're a Warhammer fan, a huge Warhammer fan, it's a 10 out of 10 game at the baseline. But if you're not, it's an 8 out of 10. And I think that a lot of times you need to have people that are huge fans of these games that are reviewing them. Because, like, for example, I'm not a Civilization fan. I'm not. Like, I could just never get into it. I always thought Age of Empires was way cooler. I thought Command & Conquer was way cooler. I like the real-time strategy. So if you had me review Civilization, I probably would say it wasn't very fun. I wouldn't like it. You need to have, bro. You need to have, like, if you want a Sparking Zero review for the people that need the review, you need to go down to Brazil, find the first 35-year-old man that you see, and just have him do the review of the game. That's it.
He will probably can't even beat the tutorial and then quit and then say the game sucks. Because this game's freaking learning curve is stupidly high.
It's all you need to do. Go to Mexico,
Yeah.
find the first 30. That's it. Just have him.
Yeah. He doesn't even know how to play this game.
Have him.
This
review the
game is complex
and
as
you're gonna have
shit.
the real.
He will die to
authentic
radins.
viewpoint.
You know?
And particular outcomes.
Like, this is the most scuffed way to say a description. But if it, I think the better idea would be the Bankai Tenshi or something in the previous game. People who played that would give a better review for this. I mean, this game is like I can tell this. This game is the best looking game in the whole series. None of the game looks has this higher quality graphics in the fight scene. You know, everything looks like a potato.
Puzzle than just mashing digital action figures together in
Yeah.
situations. There's a shoddy system for putting together dialogue so that some sort of narrative can be added to them.
Yeah, this is
But
awesome.
the best it can do is loosely set up make-believe stakes. I had no plans to write my own entire Dragon Ball arc, but I'm not sure the tool's up to the task even if I wanted to.
Yeah.
There are quite a few custom battles made by developer Spike Chunsoft baked in, and they don't really stretch the imagination that much. A few of them present interesting scenarios and specific parameters for victory, like seeing Kid Goku
Yeah,
with
beat
Master
up the world,
Roshi,
man.
who
Let's
only
go.
be beaten by the Kamehameha.
Oh.
But I haven't come across an aha creation that really shows me the potential of this mode. Sparking Zero at least seems to break the Tenkaichi curse of truly abysmal online multiplayer by supplying some solid network play. When wired up, I
Yeah,
found
beat up the
more
little
latency and
girl.
lag issues on live
Beat up the world, man. Beat up the little girl.
For me dropping a combo.
You beat up the mentally disabled person. Let's go.
I feel like tech recently for fighting games has gotten really, really good online.
Yeah, it seems like the graphics is especially.
I do. I feel like.
Have you seen the new freaking every fighting game has a better graphics now? Like they look insanely good.
The tech is way better.
The only game that looked potato was this franchise Dragon Ball Z. Now they bought it with the new graphics
For
update.
people who want to duke it out in person, but it's disappointing.
I don't think
limited to
Dragon Ball
just
Z
one
looks
scene.
even better than this.
The white
Probably with a
void
better
of
background,
time chamber.
maybe.
Even still,
But that's
playing
pretty much
Sparking
it.
Zero with real people that you can hit with a dramatic one-liner or a guttural power-up scream is still the best way to do it by far.
Rollback, yeah. The Street Fighter 6. Well, I feel like it's not just that. Like even Valorant's really good. Like just
Dragon
in
Ball
general,
Sparking
online play
Zero
is better.
a final flash from the past, sometimes to a fault, as demonstrated by its archaic menus and remedial training tools. Its episode battles have the kind of reaction-heavy difficulty that doesn't really exist in most games these days, more than once crossing the line between challenging and frustrating. But the
Yo, I
thrill
gotta
of
say
traveling
something. What's
back
up?
to a
What's up, bag?
simpler time when games
What do you
didn't
wanna
have
say?
to be balanced or competitive to be fun
Yes.
is a good one.
Thank
Especially
God.
when that action stays so true to that of the show it's recreating.
Because also, like, did you guys ever do this back in
I have an affinity with a particular game. Oh, what is it? Cap, I look for it. Oh yeah, sure.
the day? In like let's say you were playing like Smash. Like we had this where it was like, so our big game was like Soul Calibur. That was the game that I had. That's the game we played. And I remember if I would play against someone who was bad, I wasn't allowed to play Nightmare or Astaroth in Soul Calibur, and I would have to
Oh
play a
god,
different character.
Neo?
Or like anytime that I would play Smash and I was playing against somebody who was bad, I wouldn't be allowed to play like Roy, Marth, or Link, right? Nobody with a sword. I hated Valdo. Yeah, he crawls up on you. Yeah, exactly, right? And
I got that in this game. Damn, you
Roy,
played
bro,
Neo that long?
I played Roy a lot until
I
I
think
saw how good
Wulong
Marth
plays
was, and
better.
then I moved over to Marth. Yeah, Marth is best, exactly, right? And so, like, did you guys ever
I mean,
have
the
this
game is
happen
too
where it was
complex.
like-
That's the problem with
'cause, like,
that game for me. Like, the stance switching in the middle of the combat For you
in
is too
Smash,
much.
in Melee, right? There's like
And then you have to cleanse
there's like
the
a perfect
demon
imbalance
bullshit.
of Melee,
I
right?
don't
Where
know.
it's just like, you know what I said before about like onion layers of games? It's like Melee becomes a better competitive game over time. Like, I think that's like one of the best examples of it, right? But like some characters, especially for like new players and like when the game was new, like it was just Donkey Kong generally just wasn't very good against like Marth, for
Simplicity is
example, right?
exactly one. Yeah.
And so did you guys ever
I'm
do
not
that?
a fan of
Where
that.
like you were only able to play certain characters against certain people
But
because they were
because the
worse?
problem with that is, for me at least, the boss is so pressuring. They pressure you so much, and then you have to do the complex mechanic. I don't know. It's too hard. Against being input every time, like, yeah.
I feel like everybody probably
For
gets
me, it's just too
this,
much.
right?
I'm good with the timing, but I'm not good with the complexity. Like, especially my controller, I have a cheap ass controller. It doesn't even read half of my inputs,
Yeah.
even if I
Exactly.
want to.
Yep.
Living a story that was foundational to my youth, looking and sounding as great as I remember it, with the opportunity to alter it in sometimes dramatic new ways, is clever, and the addition of tools to attempt to create your own stories could elevate the experiment even further if a community can figure out how to make the most of them. For more, check out our reviews of Metaphor ReFantazio and The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. And for everything else, stick with IGN.
That's what I was thinking. I don't know, man. I feel like there's a huge thing about how like you've got to make sure that these reviews are being done by people who love the franchise. Because that's who the game is being made for. Like it and also like the people that love the franchise, they will grow the franchise and make the game bigger in the process of that. A bias? Yeah, a bias. Absolutely. Yes, of course, a bias. Duh. Like, yes, you want to have people that like this kind of game, they're going to review the game. That way, other people that like these kinds of games will be better informed.
Ah,
The person who did the previews were very positive about the game, and then they switched the reviewer. Well, I guess I'll have to find. I'll try it later on today. I downloaded it, and I'm gonna try it and see. Monster Hunter is now very
New
popular because of
general.
loud voices of dedicated fans. Yeah, one of those loud voices was Tectone. Tectone was so loud, he gave me a he's a little bit of stuff on there. There we go. A Xenogre from Monster Hunter World, and he said, "You have to play this game. This is the greatest game I've ever played." And I was like, there's no way it's that good because people are so annoying about trying to get me to play Monster Hunter. And I was like, I don't want to try it. But then Tectone was like, you should try it. And I'm like, okay, now I'm going to take it seriously. I started playing Monster Hunter, and I've beaten almost every boss in the game. And I love it. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I
like,
think that game was dog shit. It plays so lame. Like, a Monster Hunter World is the most clunky shit I ever played. Dark Souls 2 plays better than Monster Hunter.
and that's what
I
happens
rather play Dark Souls 2 than Monster Hunter, dude.
with like fans.
Because in Dark Souls 2, your combat is actually somewhat fast. It is the most. It's way clunkier than the freaking Dark Souls 2.
Of games. Like, how many of you guys had that happen with like WoW, or you got your friends?
Like, it's just so bad.
I got
Like,
my
Monster
friends
Hunter
around, for
combat,
example,
I
right?
just cannot
Like,
put
that's
up
the way
with
it's
that.
supposed to be, man.
The
That's
actual good
good.
DVC is fight is Eve Arc
Didn't
from
play Monster Hunter
the
Rise
fighting
yet?
game.
No, I didn't.
I
but
thought this
did
one
a lot
is
of
pretty
Monster Hunter
good.
World. I still even have it installed. I had to uninstall
Like,
every
Sparkling Zero, I think it's a good game. Like, it's
everything.
just complex as
I
shit.
did
That's
not
my
uninstall
complaint.
Monster Hunter World.
It's nearly impossible for a new player to learn that game. You know, that's my problem with that. And then some of the cutscenes are freaking not voice acted, and then his mouth doesn't even move. And it's made on Unreal Engine, so it has that stutter. That's pretty much it. You know?
I've got
But other than that, this is a good game.
almost 200
But
hours.
I just can't. I can't even play the fucking game. It just filtered me out of the complexity
It's
it had.
really fucking fun, man. Like Final Fantasy 14
You know?
for you? Yeah, exactly. And so, like, if you make a game for the fans, I think that that's the only way that
Fighting
you
a
can make
dinosaur.
a game, because if you lose your core audience, then you don't have anything. And I think that
This game
if
feels
you
like it's a
focus
sweat
on your
game,
core
you know?
audience and you just help grow
Sparkling
that
Zero
audience
is
by
not
just
for a
making better
normal
and better
gamer.
content for them, over time you will make that core audience larger. And I think that when we're really going to see this happen is we're going to see this with Monster Hunter Wilds. I think that we can see a 600 to 1 million player release on Steam for Monster Hunter Wilds. I know it sounds crazy, but I actually think that there's such a huge amount of hype behind the game. I think that we could see at least 600,000. No, I mean, like, maybe not a million. Like, that's a pretty big difference there, right?
We'll
600,
see
500.
how
I
fast
think
it's gonna
going to
fall
be
off.
okay. We can talk about numbers all day. I think it's going to be a lot higher than World. It'll be higher than Concord. I think it is. And I think it will be. Yeah, definitely. But anyway, yeah, this shit is so fucking cool, man. IGN only gave this game a 7 because they probably haven't gotten past grade 8 Vegeta. Whereas the guy that's been doing all these videos in the game in the preview, the guy that talked about this game like it's a 9 out of 10, they gave it 7 out of 7 Dragon Balls. IGN wouldn't shut the fuck up about this game for months, and y'all gave it a 7. A fun game with no microtransactions. I thought it did have microtransactions. That's what the video said.
Yeah.
180 characters, an intense story mode that changes the original story, a meticulous training system, and amazing graphics gets a 7. You guys are out of your mind. Ultimate Tenkaichi got a 7.5 from IGN back in the day, but Sparking Zero was a 7. That's insane. These guys gave She-Hulk a 9 out of 10.
What?
So, do you want to know the other game that was rated a 7 by IGN?
Concord?
Concord.
Concord. Knew it. It depends, because for me, Concord is just like gameplay-wise, Concord played very well. From what I've seen, it played basically like Overwatch. You know, it just has the shitty characters.
Oh, man.
But I'm not a
How
Concord
about
supporter.
that?
It deserves a fucking its death.
Dragon Ball Z.
Let's see how much IGN got under the game. Nah.
To rid the planet.
Let me be
Maybe
very
later.
clear about